So all English, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, explain the long one.
let me share my screen. Okay, can you
Yeah,
see it?
explain the long one. Sure.
Okay. Okay, today we are going to teach you about the basics of Japanese Mahjong. So the
Okay.
purpose of this lecture is to prepare you with the basics so that you can get your hands dirty on Japanese Mahjong as quickly as possible. So we are not cover anything about the cultural backgrounds or complex theories. None of them. We are just gonna do the basics. Uh just make sure that we are on the same page under the general categories of Mahjong. Every region has a different rules to play mahjongs. I mean, their rules, there's going to be variations among their rules, such as there's Beijing mahjong, Shanghai mahjong, Wuhan mahjong, Sichuan mahjong. They all have slightly different variation of rules. But what we are going to talk about today is the Japanese mahjong, which is also called Lichi mahjong. Among
Lishi.
yes, Lichi mahjong. Um, among all those different kinds of mahjong types, Japanese mahjong encourages a bit more defense compared with other types. And also at the same time, I highly recommend that it is better to start playing mahjong online for the beginners because it's gonna save you a lot of effort on managing your cards compared with if you are playing in the physical offline space.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So in this case, you can focus a lot more on the basics. All right. I think that's enough for the intro. So let's really dive right into the general game flow of Mahjong. So what we are gonna talk about right now is the major game flow. So as we all know, like Japanese Mahjong is a four players, player one, player two, player three, player four. 4 players, scoring base, competitive, card games. So the purpose is basically to win against all the other 3 players in the final ranking.
Okay, in the final ranking, the final scoring.
Yes. Yeah, the final scoring. Exactly. So from the beginning of the major game, the whole major game, everyone will start by having 24,000 points. 24,000.
24,000. Okay.
Yeah, 24,000 game, not points. So everyone will actually have the same ranking because like you have the same points. The major game would actually be divided into multiple rounds of minor games. After like different rounds of minor games, the winner of each minor game will seize points from other players. For example, if after this round of minor game, P2, player 2 becomes the winner of this minor round, he will seize points from other players. For example, like player 1 could be seized like 2,000 points. Player 3 could be also 2,000. Player 4 probably like 4,000. So at this point, like player 2 will actually have 32,000 and others will be like less because like their points are actually being collected or taken by player 2.
Okay.
Yes, that's
So
like one round.
total, so the total point is I
Fixed
mean,
amount.
okay, fixed amount.
Yes, fixed amount. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so after there's going to be like multiple rounds of minor games. Like after all the minor games are over, like the final ranking, like all this, like minor games times like 8 or 10 or something like that, the final ranking will be calculated based on the points that everyone has. Like for example, if P2 have like 48,000 points and P1 only have like 16,000, P3 have 14,000, P4 have like 18,000. This is like the end game scoring.
So the P2 is gonna be the winner. Okay.
Yes, the P2 is going to be the winner for like this major game. So in order to become the final winner, we would have to do our best to seize victories in every minor game. So in this way, we can take points from others. So this victory in minor game is called 和, which basically means like you win in the minor game, which is also the most exciting part of Mahjong. Why Mahjong is interesting to play, why is it so addictive? Especially this 和. Like you got enormous amount of excitement if you actually win in each minor games. Okay, so that's like the basic major game flow. So right now we'll have a small quiz for you. So it's basically at the end of the major game, how many points are there from 4 players in total? You actually just like you brought it up and you answer it by yourself. Before is 96,000 because um since from the beginning there's like 24,000 for everyone. Like the point here is basically you cannot gain extra point except for the first 24,000 points for everyone. You cannot have extra points growing beyond 96,000 in total during the whole game because your
Yeah,
point,
fixed. Okay.
yes, like your point will only change when you take others' points or others take yours. So that's like our small quiz to actually end the major game flow part. So let's look at the minor game flow, which is actually more important because you actually get to know how to play and the flow of every instructions or actions when you actually play Mahjong. So just like we have talked about before, Mahjong is a card game. So the core is to draw cards. So the core is to draw cards and discard cards. So from the beginning of each minor game, everyone would draw 13 cards. Everyone would draw like 13 cards on their hands in some orders. But everyone would have 13, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13. Okay.
Yeah, 13 cards to begin with on their hands. And also at the same time, just like all the other card games, you cannot see others' cards first. Like you cannot see others' cards.
Oh yeah.
You only know
That makes sense.
your cards. Yeah. Then you will start. Then we will start from a random player. The whole game will actually start from a random player in the minor game. Let's suppose that we are the first player to play. Like suppose we are the player one, and it is our turn to begin first. Then in each turn, we will draw one card onto our hands. So this is the card that we just draw from the drawing card pile.
Okay, from the card pie. Okay.
Right. So that's like we originally have 13 to begin with. Right now we have
And we
like
draw
14
one.
cards. Right. And if there is a special combination of these 14 cards, special combinations, we'll talk about combinations a lot more later.
Combination. Okay.
Right. Um, if there's a special combinations, which we actually call 和 in Mahjong, then we actually win. It's like if there's a combination, then we win. And also at the same time, the minor game is also gonna be over. and we can take points from others because we win, because we have a special combination of 14 cards on our hand. That's like the first case where we win. If the 14 cards on our hands does not have these special combinations, then we will have to select a card. Let's pretend that we select this card, and we have to discard it to the discard pile. So this card will actually give it up, and
So that
then
card won't go into the main pile,
right,
right?
it will
Okay.
go to discard pile. Yes, exactly. So right now we have 13 cards because we just discard one, and our turn will actually be ended by giving up one card. So then it's like we finish our turn by discard one card, and then the next player, and then the next player will begin his turn to draw and discard, and so on,
Okay.
and so on, and so on, and so on. So
Uh,
yeah, go ahead if you have questions.
I mean, so that goes counterclockwise.
Right. So yeah, exactly. That goes counterclockwise. Yeah, we will talk
And
about like clockwise, the order, much more detail in later. Go ahead if you
later,
have.
okay.
Yeah, counterclockwise. Okay, so from like this minor game flow, we can actually know that if we want to win each minor games, we have to he between other players he first. So in this way, we actually win and can take points from others. And to actually notice that everyone can actually see each other's discard piles.
Okay.
Yes, if player 2 discard many cards, I can actually see what cards he doesn't want or he think is less valuable than his card on his hand.
For him or her, okay.
Yeah, but we can't see each other's hand cards at the current moment. Yeah, we can't see each other's cards. So what we can see is this card pile. What we cannot see is the hand cards. So this is like the minor game flow. So let's have another little quiz. So how many cards do we have before our turn? And how many
13.
cards do we have during our turn and after our turn?
So it's 13, 14, and 13.
Right. It's 13, 14, and 13. Because before our turn, we have like 13 cards.
You get one and you lose one, okay. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So that's like the minor game flow. And I think that's it. That's it for today. Yes, the small demo ends here.
So the he have to, I mean, requires 14 cards, right?
Right.
Okay.
He requires 14 cards. Yes. Yeah, I think I think it's good to have a like a rest after a while and then have like a free time for learners and students to actually ask questions after the
Yeah,
small
sure.
time. Yeah, exactly. Okay.